Aries, this is your August 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this might resonate for you. It's Romy. Thank you for taking the time to tune in and support the channel. I really appreciate it. So we're opening up this month of August with the energy of the Seven of Cups. And, you know, this is a month that is highly charged. It also feels a little intense and almost otherworldly and dreamy. You know, we have this opening and closing energy of two powerful super full moons. And they're almost creating this sort of vibe, this haze of confusion, almost void, liminal-like energy. But at the same time, we have the power of the luminary sun energy in Leo. We have Lionsgate portal. And, you know, what it's doing is really helping you to go much deeper, to unlock subconscious stories, thoughts, patterns, beliefs, and really help you to reimagine and reorientate what that bigger vision that's calling you really feels like. So this is a month where fire and heart and vision and intention, everything that moves you, is being brought front and center stage. You may, as you move into the beginning of this month, still feel somewhat uncertain or confused or even overwhelmed by the options, the choices, or just what's simply being presented or coming at you in your physical reality. You have to remember, Aries, that you lose yourself every time that you try to force things or compare yourself or forget just how powerful and worthy you are. Now, you do look like you're sat in a position of almost like not wanting to make a decision quite yet. It's not problematic actually to take that stance, because this is definitely a month where we don't want to judge too early how we think something's going to play out. What's important, and this is with yourself, Aries, is the more honest that we are about who we are, what we need, then the space that exists between our expectations and then the disappointment of things not working out or panning out like we'd expected starts to dissolve. And so there's definitely a theme and a vibe around August of absolutely making peace with where you are. And the longer you can actually give yourself to kind of really process and reflect upon that, what you do is you stop creating any resistance, you stop fighting it, and therefore it allows you to then consider how you want to start redirecting your energy towards what you want and to embody where you're going, not where you've been. Now that in and of itself is a little complicated, because during retrograde season with all of these planets back spinning, there is a directive to have to go back to make sense of how we move forward. Ten of Cups suggests that there's an awful lot going on for you very close to home. And of course, you know, we're in heart energy, 5th house of Leo season for you. So your whole relationship to pleasure and to desire, to romance, you know, to creativity, to the things that help you to feel lighter in your world is being explored. And perhaps with that, you're also recognizing what it is that you need to lay to rest right now. This is a season for you to grow in peace. And there's pain that has purpose, and all of us to some extent are carrying pain at any given moment as we resolve and heal and process different things that have occurred in our pathways. But there's also the pain that we cling onto that directly connects to our sense of self-worth. And what we need to remember during this Venus retrograde is all of our external relationships to everything is reflected on how we feel about ourselves, our sense of value and worth when we're dealing with a Venus retrograde theme. So your Ten of Cups suggests there might be something closer to home within the family, the soul family, or what is connecting directly into the heart space for you. Now there's some fear around that, there's some anxiety, there's some stress that you're having to navigate at this moment. These moons are impressing upon you the need to let go. And yet there may be a part of you that feels, well, if I let go, I'm never going to be able to actually resolve this, or I'm not going to be able to achieve what I set out to do or what I know is possible or the potential of something. Yeah. But I think there's a deeper storyline that's going on here, and part of it is about repairing this wound of you feeling like you don't belong, or that you're not entitled to say or to create or to share or to express what this heart of yours is really telling you and conversing with you. And so, you know, the 9 is often those stories that we tell ourselves about worst case scenario. And, you know, we can get really entangled in that. And it's not a surprise with these 2 full moons that are creating a somewhat illusionary feeling, you know, to certain situations. Plus you have an awful lot of projection going on. And so what we would like to invite you to consider through this month of August is that it's a beautiful time to harness that Sun in Leo, to come to a place of bravery and boldness and remember the radiance and light of your own inner soul and turn back towards the vision that you have for yourself. Just for a moment, stop looking at everything that is trying to make you feel less than or somehow disappointed, disillusioned, or in that acute stress state. Because as we return to those bigger visions, the universe is kind of on our side cosmically as we approach Lionsgate portal on the 8th of the month. This is a cosmic conversations that heightening your awareness of your growth. And August, you know, mark my words, it's an astonishing time for self-awareness in how much you've changed and how far you've come. And that's some of the reason why we have to go full circle and, you know, come back to things where we feel nothing's changed. And what we come to realize is that everything has changed about how we now feel about this. And that's the thing that's really going to help you. Yeah. You're becoming who you need to be on the ascent and on the descent. Yeah, it's the summit, you know, the top of the mountain where you meet the new version of yourself. But the universe is always sending us back to ourselves. So regardless of the experience that you're having, whether that be good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is that you think you are seeking from that, ultimately what comes from it is an opportunity for you to meet a different part of yourself and to recognize the growth in that or the healing that's necessary in that. Temperance comes in, and I like this for you because I think it helps to restore some sense of peace to a situation that might have felt a little bit volatile or difficult, and in all honesty probably still has quite a lot of complexity to it. And yet, you know, there's time out here, or there's an acknowledgement that, you know, you no longer want to keep forcing something. In fact, you know, this is a month where you're finding yourself, and you're finding yourself in small, playful ways, but also in huge, earth-shatteringly profound ways. And that in and of itself is a really healing experience for you. So Lionsgate is a time to kind of really harness and remind yourself of those big soulful goals, because you'll be given some sense of an insight, maybe even the beginnings of an emergence of how this can work. But it's important, especially in the first part of August, that you don't try to work out the strategy and get down to the minutiae detail, because sometimes we can, you know, get ourselves bound up and too inveigled in things and start to unpick the possibilities because we just think it's just not going to work. I just don't have the time or energy or resources. I can't see it. I can't feel it. You know, I need to see the evidence. It's not working. And so you're then kind of moving against the flow of where the universe is trying to sort of pull you to a place where actually we strengthen your visions. We make them bolder and brighter. And we have an opportunity to make an adjustment because you've changed so much. It's quite likely that the things that you want perhaps are not the same, or certainly they might feel a little different. You know, they might need more added to them. So this is the time to harness that. Now we come to mid-month and we have the asteroid goddess Juno coming into the sign of Leo. So there we'll have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Juno. We still have Black Moon Lilith, asteroid goddess, also in Leo until October 3rd. Juno in Leo, of course, is dealing with partnerships, both professionally and romantically. So you get to have your heart on your sleeve. You get to express yourself, yeah? And remember, like we said, if you're honest about who you are and what you want, then that space between expectation and disappointment can dissolve. What it might also realize for you is that as you come to terms with what's real and what's just being done for show, that there might be a requirement to move on. Yeah, there might be a situation with someone where you realize there's no room for growth or expansion in this for me. And maybe that is a temporary situation. Maybe you need to go and just take some time to be able to invest or direct your energy towards a specific thing. And then it can come full circle, because there's something about this cycle for you where something or someone is returning to you that was always destined for you. But there's a timing, component to this. So you have to sort of read the energy of the room. How are you being guided and directed right now? And it's difficult because, we're often feeling into this deep move to kind of not accept and to put the boundaries up and to let go and to change and to transform. And sometimes it can overshadow our need to be tolerant and have compassion. And sometimes then our ego, our stubbornness, our pride gets in the way and ends up restricting us from the very thing that we want. Because we take a stance that says, I'm no longer prepared to accept this behavior. Well, rightly so if it's damaging, but at the same time, if we take the opportunity to reflect and step back and realize where we need to work on the self, why someone else is coming at it from this place, there may be for some of you situations that are not meant to be completely broken, but have that opportunity to move on from a current narrative or experience that you really need to learn from, so that it's no longer being repeated. And this is the soul growth, right? The new moon in Leo comes in on the 16th, and there's big plans coming in here. And again, I think at this time you'll sort of realize whether they're in or they're out. And again, that could be a romantic partner, it could be something happening professionally with a friendship or family, but I think you'll get a true read on the situation. Now, it's not that straightforward. So even though you might have an intention from someone, I think the practical aspects of delivering this or being able to kind of demonstrate through action are yet to come. Because not only have we still got Venus retrograde, Mercury's then going to go retrograde on the 23rd. So you're into the shadow of that by the time we come to that new moon. And so everything sort of slows down somewhat and gets almost sort of held, if you like, in this pending file until all of the evidence, all of the information, all of the knowledge, all of the work, all of the transformation that needs to happen on the internal kind of takes place. And when we get the green light, it will be in the right divine timing. So don't feel frustrated with yourself or others if you feel like, everyone's on the same page, we're good to go, and then it just feels like there's this resistant energy saying not yet. Okay, so the new moon is a beautiful time for you this month. And I think, even if you have found yourself in a situation where you need to let go, move on, or there is an ending kind of coming through, you might just be feeling into the decision that you need to make around that. What emerges from it, Ace of Cups, beautiful. It's almost like you have to create space. The moon is demanding that you let go and surrender because this is waiting in the wings. And look how peacefully it's coming through. Temperance and the Ace of Cups, and even the way that Ten of Cups is showing up. So even though you have some fear and uncertainty about how this is going to work, how this might play out for you, there's an overflowing energy here of being rejuvenated and nourished and restored and replenished to the degree that you're able to open that heart space up, which remember is what's necessary for you through Leo season. And there's something really sensual about this. It's kind of like this is a month where we want you to embrace the tactile activation of your senses. You're almost returning back to a place where you remember what true pleasure feels like. And whether that involves other people or just yourself or whatever it is that, you direct yourself to embrace that, it's really, really powerful. Because in that energy and in that vibration, you're making better decisions. You're coming at it from a more balanced place. You've got new energy that's flooding in. You've got the sense of feeling like this is a fresh start, a new beginning. You've got opportunities and offers that are showing up that again are directly connected into the heart line for you, i.e. something that brings you joy, contentment, excitement, love. So this is a really powerful journey that you're on, and you need to kind of recognize the signposts and how they're showing up for you. So we move beyond the new moon in Leo, and we're going to come into Virgo season on the 23rd. That's the same day that Mercury will shift retrograde. 6th house for you gets lit up. So how are you taking care of yourself? Yeah, and there's a self-nourishment, loving energy coming through with that ace anyway. But there's also something about the way you want to be of service, how you want to show up for other people. Well, you show up for other people by showing up for yourself in the same energy that you would want. How you want to be seen, how you want to be treated, how you want to be respected. When you treat yourself exceptionally through the course of this month, you will realize that starts to get mirrored back towards you. Now, as we make our way toward the end of August, there's some interesting events set to unfold. Uranus goes retrograde on the 28th, and then we have this full moon in Pisces arriving on the 30th. That's going to ask you for a deep dive, Aries. It's going to ask you to go deeper than you ever have before by way of a conversation with somebody or with yourself, acknowledging something, facing something. And there's surprise scenarios that you're going to be encountering around that with Uranus going retrograde. That might be a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, your equilibrium might be disrupted. Your vision or your belief might be shattered, but only so it can be replaced with something that helps align you more powerfully to actually what it is that you want. Sometimes we think we know best and we don't. Yeah, sometimes we think we look at all the evidence that surrounds us and we're like, well, it makes perfect logical, sense to me that this is the best thing for me to do in this moment, or this is the right approach. And universe has another idea. So we have to be prepared for some interesting revelations through the entirety of August, but especially toward the end of the month, that will land in a way that they're irrefutable and we cannot ignore them. It's a healing energy, remember, at its core, that full moon in Pisces, very dreamy and otherworldly. It's almost like you're having this sense of, is this really happening? There might be a lot of deja vu going on for you. Conversations that you're picking back up, and it might feel like yesterday, but also there's this sense of coming into contact with people or visiting places that you're like, gosh, this is so familiar to me. And I think there's something in that, you are coming back to something. Yeah, it's through your consistency this month that you're able to dissolve and break through and clear the way of any confusion. If you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of the reading, Aries, you'll find that link in the comment and description box underneath. This month I've created a Lionsgate portal meditation along with a new full moon activation to support you with these powerful energetic dates. You can find that link below. So what I'm doing just now is just clarifying the main reading to see where we're going to be taking this extended reading. And if you join me, we'll also look at a personal question as well as a relationship card for you to look more close to home in addition to the general reading here, okay? Let's have a look at this 9 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles. We list all of the decks below, okay? Another 8 of Cups there, interesting. 4 of Wands and the energy of the Sun coming through. Okay, let's look at this 8 of Cups. Ace of Wands, you see, it's just necessary. Sometimes we cling on to things just because the fear of not getting it as good or the challenge of what might lie ahead just kind of renders us a little paralyzed. But even though I think the pathway in front of you doesn't necessarily look straightforward, I think you need to kind of give yourself permission to go that way. This is a month where you know, you don't want to be judging midway. You have to kind of give yourself permission to just sit and make peace with how you're feeling, what you're deciding upon, what's coming at you, what people are saying to you, how they're acting, observing their behavior, and just sort of holding all of that evidence until such times as you get absolute crystal clear clarity. And it's going to keep dropping in and insights all the way through the month. But I feel it's toward the end of August, early September, where you really have that absolute like fire of like, okay, now not only do I know what I want, I know exactly how I need to get there. And you begin the initiation of that strategy, okay? So this is Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own personal deck. So if you haven't yet seen this, please do check it out, along with my other sacred title, the Moon Musings book. These are soul-led guidance and inspiration to support you wherever you are energetically. Full moon, of course, soulful surrender coming in, and we've got spirit bear, ancestral protection. We have enlightened in the exhale, earth star energy, honesty at the edge of quiet, and heart energy coming through for you. It's nice to see. Okay, let's also just pull one more oracle card for you. Remember, if you're joining me, we'll also look at a personal question and a relationship card for you. You have King Tide, plenty, prosperity, receiving the fullness of life. Beautiful, abundant message coming through there. Aries, thanks so much for tuning in and joining me. I appreciate you. I look forward to continuing this conversation on the extended. And otherwise, I wish you well. I will see you again next month. Bye for now.